hear that Bengal growling. Mean and angry, here he comes the prowling. Mean and hungry and offensive brute. Run fast or boot, and defensively he's rough. Cincinnati Bengal, that's the team we're gonna cheer to victory. Touchdown Bengals, get some points upon the board and win the game for Cincinnati. Cincinnati, we gotta get right here in town.
Nobody but the Philadelphia Eagles. How you doing, everybody? Unhappy Friday for all of you out there. Coming to you live once again from our humble abode here. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you may be and whatever device you're using to stream us on YouTube. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if you're stuck at work, crack open a cold one, just like Keenan, our good friend Keenan, is doing, and let's have some fun as we put an end to this week's hostage situation and look forward to the weekend. Yeah, we had to take a little dig at the Bengals to start off with, right? I mean, my God, what a disaster. And we're going to get into that. And, yeah. So my voice is just now coming back around, just so you know. I really blew out the lines on Sunday and then again on a little bit on Monday night, too, when we did our bar crawl. But what a fun weekend out here. And a big shout out to our Midwest Eagles Nest folks here. 400-person tailgate at the Filson downtown at the Banks. Our group, 50-ish of that came through Midwest Eagles Nest, either, directly or people who got a hold of me and, got the information from me for the tailgate. And some folks did ticket and tailgate. Some folks did pep rally and tailgate. A lot of folks just did tailgate. But either way, it was a great showing. I know I posted it in the group, and I don't mean to hog all the time here for, just our group here. But when the schedule got released back in May and people started asking about tailgate and whatnot, and I just said, look, hold on. Over the summer, the game day only options will become available. Once those became available, shared all that information with everybody. And the only thing I asked was if you could swing it, come to the tailgate. I understand that ticket and tailgate could have been, a little bit steep. I also understand that pep rally added on for the folks, especially like Fanny, who live up in Dayton, to come all the way down to Cincinnati and back. That's a lot when you don't have a room downtown. But what I asked, if it was possible, if you could do it, is please just give me a strong showing at the tailgate. And you guys showed out for me. And I promise you, I will never forget that. Ever. Trust me. I'd be lying if there weren't a few times walking around there where I didn't get a little emotional, just how much that meant to me for everybody who showed out there. And I know a lot of you, Fanny gets in the room and she's interactive. I know a lot of you watch either live or later. The ones watching live a lot of times don't comment in the room, and that's okay too. But I want you all to know how much I really, really appreciated that. And then we capped it with a victory. Oh, my God. 18 years I've been living out here. 2006, I moved out here. And so that was the third time that I had seen the Birds come into Cincinnati. Went down in 08. It was freezing cold. That was the tie. We tied, and that was the game where afterwards McNabb had the nerve to say he didn't know that a game could end in a tie. So just add insult to injury. Like, the Bengals weren't that good of a team. We were better. And then to come in here, lay an egg, and tie them, it felt very much like a loss. And then McNabb just, twist the knife a little deeper, making stupid comments like that. 2016, Birds come here to town. That was the first time the Green Legion came here. And we got absolutely pulverized. That was Wentz's rookie season. Lane Johnson had already been suspended. The season was off the rails. It was dark, cloudy, light rain. It was like anybody who was in Kansas City with us last year, it was that weather. Cold, rain, right? It's cold enough to where you felt like, why don't you just go ahead and snow? But it was rain. And then we got beat 32 to 14. 32 to 14. And it's just a miserable afternoon and evening. And then finally, this year, the Birds come in. And not only do we win after being 3-9-2 all time against the Bengals, 0-3-2 in the previous 5 meetings overall, having never won a game here in Cincinnati ever, and the Bengals having never lost while wearing those white color rush uniforms, we come in here with still a lot of doubts, a lot of naysayers out there, and we absolutely take Cincinnati to the woodshed, right? First half, 10-10, got it. It was nerve-wracking. I wasn't overly pleased, especially with the way Sirianni used the timeouts to close the first half. Pissed me off. But second half, just absolutely beat them to death. And it was glorious to be able to stand up there and watching all of the Bengal fans leave because they knew the game was over. You know, as a fan, the relief, a fan living out here for 18 years, having to hear about how the Eagles had never won here, having to hear about how bad the Eagles have played against the Bengals over the course of history, and to come in here and just smack that ass, the relief, and then and add to it, my son's got to go, right? Thank you once again to Quimby for that. And it was just an absolutely glorious afternoon. Back to the Filson. Everybody's jumping up and down. My partner in crime with the Midwest Eagles Nest comes in, Mike. I'm standing about 10 feet in front of him. We both just jump and hug each other, just screaming and yelling. It was just beautiful. What an afternoon. And we'll get into the stats here in a few, but I just wanted to run that down real quick. The relief. Now, I wasn't back to work until Wednesday, so I didn't really get to go in and really enjoy it with the folks. But when I walked into work on Wednesday, everybody kind of just like, it's okay, guys. I'm not going to kick you while you're down. I don't do that. But we did whip your ass by 20. What a day. All right, in the room here. I saw Fanny in here, saw Keenan in here. Lou Mancini, happy Friday, everyone, and a belated happy birthday to Lou Mancini. Lou, I will not divulge your age. If you care to do that, that's on you. But a belated UnHappy happy birthday from Green Legion Radio. Hope it's been a good one. Hope you got a fun weekend planned, or even if it's just a relaxing weekend. Fanny comes in and says, my son said he had so much fun. He just wished he could have went to the game that would have topped it off. Yeah, I know. And those tickets were expensive, guys. I get it. For the folks that did go and got their tickets through the Green Legion, you would have seen that your tickets look like they came from me. And that is because I live here. We had to use my ID to secure the tickets because the Bengals ticket office wouldn't deal with anyone outside of the local area. Funny story that we can tell another time, maybe Sunday for the folks that are coming out with us on Sunday. But yeah, so when I got the pricing info, the Bengals, and every team does this. There's tiers, right? And they usually do it by the color of the team or whatever. So the Bengals are black, orange, white tier, right? Depending on the game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, obviously higher tier, whichever one they considered. Well, this year they had black, orange, white, and Eagles. Our game here, the ticket prices were $20 to $40 higher per seat across the board than any other home game on their schedule at that time. That's more than when Pittsburgh comes in, more than when Baltimore comes in, more than when Cleveland comes in. Ridiculous. So the folks that came to the tailgate and we couldn't go to the game. I know, Fanny, you couldn't find tickets, or you can find them, but good Lord, the prices on them. I get it, man. I mean, that was those were steep prices. So I totally understand. It would have been fun. I get it, but I also understand the price constraints. Lou Mancini says 60 going on 80. Well, you don't look a day over 75. I'm kidding, buddy. Happy birthday, man. Happy 60th. Another milestone passes, right? Yeah, Fanny, absurd ticket prices. So we had Keenan in here before. He says, "Hi, guys. I'm at my niece's wedding, and of course it hasn't started on time, but the bar is open, so she can have all the time she wants." So Keenan, I guess we'll pop in and out as he's got the opportunity. All right, let's take care of the business of things, and then we're going to talk some birds. Usually I do the boner of the week before, right after the business stuff. We're going to save that for after the birds talk. And that is because we're not really a boner of the week this week. I'm calling this week a Satchel of Richards because there's a bunch. And we're going to talk about them. And we're going to have some fun. After we talk birds, we'll have some fun with that. And then we'll call it a night. And you guys can go enjoy your weekend. So, everyone, we are sponsored by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Just minutes away from the sports complex, Cheerleaders brings you the area's most beautiful women on 5 different stages. Open 7 days a week from noon to 2 a.m. and until 4 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. For group information, call 215-467-1980. Also offering free parking, a full menu, daily drink and food specials, and a premium selection of cigars and a cigar lounge. If you're looking for a place to watch your favorite sporting event and you can't get out to the stadium, head on out to Cheerleaders and enjoy the 75-foot HD TV wall, as well as HD TV screens throughout the club. Once again, folks, that is Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party information. Everybody, please don't forget to share us everywhere. All right. Right now, we're just on YouTube. But so share our YouTube channel, encourage people to subscribe, encourage people with the notifications, encourage them to share it as well. But also share all of our social media too. Even though we don't stream on there right now, doesn't mean you still can't follow us. That's the Green Legion on Facebook, Instagram, X, and wherever else, we continue to show up. Of course, the YouTube. We always want to flood the interwebs with the Green Legion and with Green Legion Radio. I was doing it today, trying to sell. I saw some posts pop up in other groups, people asking about information for Dallas. Hey, where can I tailgate? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? What people are going to Dallas? Hey, trips.greenlegion.com. Always scrolling at the bottom of this screen anytime I go live on here. This will always be there. Trips.greenlegion.com. That's the website. Very simple. Everybody in my group was able to set up their stuff for the tailgate and whatever else. If I can figure it out, I'm sure everybody can. One more update as far as this show and for me. So next week, with Liam's football season having wrapped up, next week we are going to look to get out remote to do the show. All right. I'm going to look at Wednesday night next week, try to get back to our normal day and time. I know I've moved around a lot, and it's been a little bit difficult for you guys to follow us, not to mention the fact that we don't have the StreamYard access to Facebook or Twitter X anymore. So I'm going to try to get back to Wednesday nights. If not Wednesday, then I will be looking to go to Friday. If I'm out, out of my house. Fanny, do they sell tickets to home games? So no, the Green Legion will not have tickets to home games. We do have home tailgates, and those are held at 1100 Social Xfinity Live, right adjacent to Lincoln Financial Field. The footprint for the Green Legion at that facility is 950. The cost per person, I believe, is still $75. It's much what you saw this past Sunday. All you can eat, all you can drink, $75. And coming in through there, you do not pay cover to access the rest of the facility. If you've never been there before, it's a huge facility. So if you come in through the Green Legion, you have your badge or whatever, your cover charge to use the rest of Xfinity Live's area is waived. So yeah, and you'll get the flagship staff for the Green Legion radio pregame show, which is Quimby, Chris Sack, Michael Diaz, Super Sam, and this year adding Trey Thomas. Okay? Fanny, if you need help with any of that, let me know. If you need help with tickets in Philly, I can try to reach out to some folks, but you got to understand, you're not going to get any kind of discount. And tickets to the link are very expensive, especially depending on which game you may want to go to. Sometimes it's better off doing exactly what you did this past Sunday, is to just pay the $75 for the tailgate, have a blast, and then be able to watch all the games at wherever you're sitting. But ultimately, that's going to be up to you or whoever you're trying to seek that information for. Yeah, back to me. So, going to get out on the road with the show. Okay. So we go back porch. Wednesday nights should be fine. There is a place down in northern Kentucky I would like to get down to. That might have to be a Friday night thing. But ultimately, we're going to try to get back to Wednesday nights and get some more consistency here. Look, guys, we don't have access to Facebook anymore through StreamYard. We don't have access to Twitter anymore through StreamYard. So we're strictly just YouTube. I don't know how much longer this will continue, to be perfectly honest. It's going to go on for as long as the boss determines he wants it to be a thing. What I can tell you is if we want things to continue, then sponsorship helps. So if you know anybody out there, and not just to sponsor this show, you'd be a Green Legion radio sponsor, right? So that's advertisement on this show, on the pregame show, on Green Legion Radio, and across all of our social media channels. And not a huge monthly commitment here. We're looking for a year commitment to be paid monthly, and then reviewed at the end of the year to make sure that everybody's cool with what's going on, not to ask for any kind of increase. Okay. So if anybody's got a small business out there that would like some additional advertising, keep in mind Green Legion, not just Philadelphia. Fanny, you just saw firsthand the impact we have even in a smaller city like Cincinnati. We are nationwide, and in some cases across to England, across to Europe as well. So believe me when I tell you, it's not just a Philadelphia thing. All right. Finally, for me, spent the weekend with Q here in Cincinnati, and the trigger was pulled. UnHappy Gilmore will be heading to Los Angeles in 3 weeks to work to help Green Legion festivities in LA. All right. Michelle is not overly thrilled with it, but I think she understands that it's not exactly party time weekend, right? It's there's going to be a lot that needs to be done in a very short period of time. It's also not like I'm heading to LA, early September where the weather's still 85, 90 degrees and it's nothing but beach weather. We're talking about late November here where while the weather is still going to be sunny and stuff, it's not exactly beach weather, right? You're talking about 70 degrees, 75 degrees, and cool at night, right? So that's the updates there. I know our good friend David Loeb is thrilled that we are heading that I'm heading out there. Haven't seen him since Kansas City last year, so it'll be good to hang out with him for a few, and should be a good time. And then I'll be back for Thanksgiving, and that wraps up my year as far as the travel, unless after the new year the big guy says he needs me to get out on the road again. But I'll be tapped out of PTO time for the the year 2024, and my work life gets pretty busy around that time of year. Lou Dominguez. Not sure what you're trying to say here, buddy. But thanks for popping in. Lou Mancini, nice. She'll get over it, bring her back a thoughtful gift. It's kind of the idea, right? That would be nice. Califoot in the room. What time is the Yankees game? Same time as the Red Sox. Lou Dominguez, TGIF, everyone, and greetings, Adam. Hit that like button. There you go, buddy. Always appreciate the support from our great friends down in Miami. Love the Halloween costumes, by the way, brother. That was some pretty funny stuff. You guys are always really creative and always a lot of fun. So, and look, Lou, I would really like to try to get the fam down to Miami that first week in April when the kids are on spring break, and the boys and I would be going to the would want to get over to the over to check the Marlins off the list. So you and I and Chris need to talk about that as we get through the hot stove season now that MLB is officially over with. All right, let's get that out of the way right now. Start of the World Series. I told everyone that I thought it would be Dodgers in 6. I really did feel that the Dodgers were the better team. And the only way the Yankees were going to win was if they won if they won any game Garrett Cole started, had to be a victory, and Aaron Judge had to show up, right? I mean, along with the rest of the offense. It's not like he was the only one slumping, but he's the MVP. He's the captain, and he was horrible. Okay, there's just no way around it. He was awful. He finally shows up late, but it was too little too late. I'll be honest, when we got up, we get down 3-0, lose Cole start, Boone's bad decision to take Cole out at 88 pitches. That was a terrible move in game 1. All the while through, Judge is not hitting. Doesn't complete the lineup, You're walking Juan Soto to pitch to Aaron Judge. And I don't blame the Dodgers at all. Judge couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a fucking boat. It was what it was. So you lose the first 3. And at that point, you're like, all right, you know what? This is over. Let's see if we can at least force it back to LA, right? Don't get beat on your home turf. So then you go and you stomp them in game 4. You win 11-4. Great. Game 5, you're up 5-0, and Cole is cruising. And it's like, okay, we're going to get this back to LA. Maybe make them squirm a little bit. We'll take our chances out there. And then the worst defensive inning in postseason history happens. Aaron Judge takes his eyes off of a routine fly ball. You can clearly see on the replay, he's got it lined up, and then he just does this and boots it. And, then you get a ground ball to Volpe that Colin Cowherd, who I would love to rip to shreds with his lack of baseball knowledge, get a ground ball to Volpe, shortstop moving to his right. Not a routine play, not an easy play. Fields it, goes to third to try to get the force there, and he makes a bad throw. And Jazz can't pick it out. So now the bases are loaded. There's nobody out. Garrett Cole responds by striking out the next 2 hitters, one of which being Shohei Ohtani. And then he gets Mookie Betts to hit a tapper to first base and forgets to cover the bag. while it doesn't go down as an error, it probably should. You get over there, cover the bag. Rizzo flips it to him. We're out of the inning. The Dodgers, having had the bases loaded with nobody out, would have scored nothing. And you pretty much break their spirit for at least that game at that point, right? You probably go on to win. Instead, the floodgates open up. And 5 runs come across. The game's now tied, and the rest is history. Yankees take a 6-5 lead later on, only to blow it on a back-to-back sac flies by the Dodgers, who just played fundamentally better baseball than the New York Yankees. That's it. Across the board. They were just better, which I knew going in. But when you're up 5-0 with a chance to get on a plane and head back to L.A., and Cole's on the mound, it's just a terrible loss. Ultimately, got to tip your cap to the Dodgers. They were the best team, and that's the way it goes sometimes. So now the boys of summer right off into the sunset for the winter. Lou, Dominguez, you, Chris, and I will keep up the banter all during the offseason. As Hot Stove comes around, obviously where Soto ends up will end up being a big deal. There's a bunch of other free agents out there. Not the lead, Yankees have a few themselves they got to make decisions on. Gleyber Torres being one of them. So we'll see what happens. But that's your finale there. So I know a lot of you reveled in it. I know you all hate the Yankees, and that's okay, right? I don't fault anyone for any of that. It's a way of, I chose to be a Yankees fan when I was a little kid. So I learned very quickly that when you're not a Yankees fan, everyone, when you're a Yankees fan, everyone who's not, they hate your team, and oftentimes they hate you. So it just kind of goes with the territory. Lou, what did I say to Chris the other day? I told him, I said, it's not just being a fan, it's a lifestyle, because you got to get used to people, when things like this happen, or like 2004 happens, everyone loves to laugh at you, and you got to be able to take it. So here we are. The only thing I don't take, and who I will jump back at, is the people who are nothing but loudmouths, right? So your folks that aren't real baseball fans that just want to come out of the woodwork and run their fat fucking mouth. Yeah, those people I will go toe-to-toe with, and you'll lose because most of you don't know your ass from your elbow. All right. Lou Dominguez says, already counting down to pitchers and catchers reporting. Yeah, man. I mean, we got a couple more months, and we're right back after it again. We'll work out these for sure. Yeah, I've got to line it up with the wife because she's got a big birthday next year. I'm not going to divulge her age on here. Big birthday next year, and I've got to do something special for her. Probably just her and I, and I don't know how that's going to coincide with this. Miami may just be the boys and I, depending on how the birthday thing for my wife goes. It's all just going to depend, bro. But we will definitely, we'll definitely work it out. All right. Enough of all the bullshit baseball talk, even though I'm sure Califoot would love to hear me sit here and continue to bury my Yankees. We're not going to do that. We're going to move on to the Birds, okay? And let's see here. Where was it? Oh, I've got it up already. So, as we talked about, huge 20-point win here in Cincinnati. First win the Eagles have ever had in this building. First time the Bengals had ever lost wearing their color rush uniforms, as if that really makes a difference, but it did to them. So I'm happy we beat them. 37-17 in a game that was 10-10 at halftime. Really, really just they outscore them 27-7 in the second half. Was just, it was just just beautiful. Look at some of the stat lines here. Jalen Hurts, 16 of 20, 236 yards, 1 touchdown. The long pass play, the 1 touchdown, the 45-yard pass to Devontae Smith. It was Smith's turn to eat in the end zone this week, which I was happy to see. Hurts also carries 10 times for 37 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't know. Saquon Barkley's getting a little frustrated not getting in the end zone or not, but he seems to like the tush push, so whatever. Speaking of Saquon Barkley, 22 carries, 108 yards. He more than did his job. Kenny Gainwell, 5 carries for 19. Nothing special, but enough to spell Saquon a little bit. On the receiving end, look, Devontae Smith targeted 7 times, 6 catches, 85 yards, including the 45-yard touchdown. A.J. Brown targeted 6 times, 5 catches, 84 yards. And another nice game from Grant Calcaterra. Targeted 3 times, caught all 3 for 58 yards. Granted, according to, we got good information from our good friend Roger here with the Midwest Eagles Nest during our pregame show. Bengals came into that game 29th in the league against the tight end. So there was going to be opportunity for Calcaterra to eat, and he did a good job. So in the absence of Goddard, we have been getting decent, at least receiver production from Calcaterra. Fanny, I don't have live Twitter up here. I can do that though. Let me take a look here. You're saying we just traded for somebody. I probably should have had just be sitting here refreshing Adam Schefter's page over and over again. Let's see. Schefter. Adam Schefter. I don't have anything, Fanny. I see 2 hours ago. Cowboys rule out Michael Parsons for the. Jeez. He's still out? My God. Giants. No, I'm not seeing. Give me some information. If anybody sees some sort of trade, let me know what the hell's going on, because I always rely on Schefter's Twitter page, and he has nothing up right now. His last post is about Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson didn't practice, blah, 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 blah. So we'll go through that. For the Bengals, look, Joe Burrow is every bit as good as you think he is. It's my first time actually seeing him live. That man is a damn good quarterback. We only sacked him one time, but he was under, he had to move around quite a bit. We had him under duress a bunch. He goes 26 of 37, 234 yards, 1 touchdown. Did throw the interception. It was a deep ball. He's trying to take a shot. I can't really knock him for it. Rodgers right there, with the tip directly into Gardner Johnson's arms, and off we go for another touchdown. Same old on the ground for the Bengals. They cannot run the ball, and then we got up so much that it basically took their run game out of the mix. Chase Brown, 12 carries, 32 yards. I was trying to tell a guy at work, he was trying to defend. He's, Chase Brown's a fun player. I don't really give a shit. He's not a good running back. Okay? Your running backs are a collection of 2s at best. Maybe RB3s in some situations. And you're doing it by committee. You have no run game to speak of, and not the greatest offensive line in the world. That run game was never going to do much against a Birds defense that can really be a pain in the ass up front. Jamar Chase, 11 targets, 9 catches, 54 yards, and the 1 touchdown. But, 9 for 54, what is that, 6 yards a catch? 6 yards per reception? That's nothing. Their longest pass play was what? The 41-yarder to Jermaine Burton, which ended up, a hill of beans. So they didn't do enough. Fanny, I'm still not seeing it. I'm hitting refresh on Schefter's page. There's nothing there yet there. So just watch that. You're not seeing that it's just a rumor right now. There's going to be a lot of that weekend. Lou Mancini, we got Al Bundy. All right. Now, over to the defense this past weekend. Gardner Johnson with the pick, right? Tackles, Zach Bond, 12. Combo, right? So 8 solo, 4 assisted. Nakobe Dean, 9. Reed Blankenship, 9. Nakobe Dean also had a hit on Joe Burrow and recovered the fumble. Zach Bond, Oren Burks, and Brandon Graham's forced fumbles. Right? What else we got here? The 1 sack. Where is it? was shared. Was Nolan Smith and my guy Milton Williams. They really played well, just as a group. I do, and I want to call it out here. Rookie Cooper DeJean. That play that he made on that fourth down, kind of little swing screen pass to Jamar Chase. Have you guys seen the full replay of that? Chase goes into motion back and forth trying to shake him, and he can't. And then the ball gets snapped, and Cooper has to come around the linebackers. He sniffs it out right away, and the closing speed to get up there and make that stop. Guys, I'm telling you, those two early draft picks that we took in this year's draft both look like they are going to be absolutely dynamic players, and I cannot wait to see what the future brings for both of them. Cooper on the day, three total tackles, all three of them solo, and one pass defense, and of course the one tackle on Jamar Chase on that fourth down play for a loss. Gave us the ball back, and again, off we go. Not much to speak of on the Cincinnati side. They didn't get to Jalen at all. That was pretty much it. What I will tell you, and it's something, who is Braden Daniels? Somebody we just signed to the practice squad. Yeah, I'm not going to get – if it was something big, Fanny, I would kind of get more into it. I will look that up after the show and kind of get but practice squad guys, you look at practice squad, that's exactly what it's there for, really like far down depth. So it's not anything to get like overly worked up about it. All the rumors coming out of Philly was that Howie is looking to add across the defense, edge rush, interior line, linebackers, corners, safeties, but as a depth thing. Okay. So it may be practice squad or deep bench on the roster on a Sunday. But unless there's some huge splash out there that can be got for cheap, I don't think you want to mess with what's going on right now. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but this defense has really turned it on. This past weekend against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase was a big test, and we held them to 17 points in their own house. So I don't know if I'd mess with it. One thing I am going to call out about the defense, once again, when we look at the snap counts on the defensive side of the ball, Jordan Davis was up to 38%, but he was also the fewest snaps of your defensive tackles. Look, it continues to not be the greatest look for Jordan Davis right now. Okay. You could even make the argument that he had a few increased snaps in this because we were blowing them out. And, we were playing some guys that are now maybe looked at more at bench. Jordan Davis had 11 snaps on special teams. If he was supposed to be making an impact as a starting defensive tackle, I don't think you'd see him out there on special teams all that, not that much. The bad look, like we talked about last week with him, is as his snap counts have come down, our defense, in particular the push up front, has gotten better. This is not a good look for a kid that was a high round draft pick. So, Fanny, what's he doing on special teams? The same thing Brandon Graham will do on special teams. These guys, they all take the snaps there. It's just to see a guy like Jordan Davis, who was a high draft pick, end up with 11 snaps on special teams. It kind of shows you how the coaching staff is looking at Jordan Davis right now. He'll be an up man, right? He's out there to just block. That's it. It's not a good look for him. Here's Josh. Braden Daniels has been hopping practice squad since Washington released him after the injury. Yeah, so it's nothing to really get worked up over. Thank you, Josh, for that info. because I wasn't finding it. Look, like I said, it's deep depth. Okay. If we get to a point where that young man has to start, we've probably got some bigger issues. But depth never hurts, right? And extra practice squad guys to push some, to help push some other guys doesn't hurt either. But certainly nothing to kick up a big fuss about. Yeah, so it's starting to bum me out now with Jordan Davis. This has been a consistent thing over the last few weeks. His snap counts are the lowest of any defensive tackle that we rotate. Carter, 78%. Milton Williams, 48%. Ojomo at 43%. And then Jordan Davis at 38%. And that's been a common theme. This is now 3-4 weeks. So it's a thing now. And the other thing I've noticed is that those special team snaps on him, this isn't the first time I've seen it. Those special team snaps are coming up too. It's very possible that we're looking at bust alert on Jordan Davis, unless something changes. Josh, is it performance or stamina? I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's both. I think the performance is hurt by the lack of stamina because the word is that he's lazy. When we drafted Jalen Carter, obviously we drafted Carter because he's a freakish athlete at that size and strength. But it was also because we're going to pair him back with Jordan Davis, and the hope was that they were going to do their thing. Last season, pretty much up through that Buffalo game, we saw a bunch of that. And as it got closer to that Buffalo game, it got a little bit more inconsistent. He had a big game against Buffalo, and really we haven't heard from him much since then. And it's really a shame. Russ Taylor, what's up, bitches? How you doing, my friend? Lou Mancini, Davis is a bust. There, I said it. Fanny, I've lost trust in Davis, honestly. He's just huge and in the way. And that's the appearance. And it's a bad look. It's a shame. A couple of years ago when we were, building up to that draft, doing the Right On Cue show, Quimby was all about him. I was on board. He looked the part. So I dove in as well. And then we drafted him, and it was awesome. And now it just doesn't look awesome. When your snap counts at your position come down this far in comparison to Ojomo, Williams, obviously Carter, and you're getting additional snaps, you're getting more snaps. He still had more snaps as a defensive tackle, but the fact that he was also out there on 46% of the special teams plays, the writing's on the wall. And unless something changes soon, nothing is going to he's not going to be a bird for much longer. Russ Taylor. Oh, shit, where'd that go? There it is. Hope everyone is having a good fall. Get ready to set those clocks this weekend. I know, dude. I can't stand it. I really hate daylight savings. All right, fall back. I know you're supposed to get an extra hour of sleep, blah, 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 blah. It's like, is it really? So. Shout out to Lou on his 28th birthday. There you go. All right. Fanny, he needs to take the hint. His days are numbered. You would hope, right? We talked about it last week. We were hoping to see, and when I mentioned it, when I talked about this, towards the end of the show last week, thought was maybe it'll motivate him, right? And maybe we'll see a better result. And it just didn't happen. It didn't happen. He's let's get over to the stats again. Can I even find him on here? Jordan Davis, he had one solo tackle. So he did hit the stat sheet. Bryce Huff had 2 tackles. He seems to be coming around. The other one that I want to talk about on more of a positive note is Nolan Smith, who, if you guys remember preseason, I talked about Nolan Smith, that it was my belief that he was one of, if not the biggest key to the overall pass rush. for the Birds this year. And slow start, but he seems to be coming around. 2 tackles, had the half a sack. He had a pass defense. Had himself a nice game once again here in Cincinnati. Lou Dominguez, hate that extra hour of darkness, and no, that's not rightness. All right. Look, guys, we get Dougie P and Sunshine come into Philly this weekend. Dude, the Jaguars are not a good football team, okay? Another guy on Bust Alert would be Sunshine. I said it a year ago that show me where is this supposed huge talent. This was the most highly rated quarterback at the time since Peyton Manning, and it's amounted to a hill of beans. I get it. Urban Meyer that season set him back, but then Doug Peterson's supposed to come in and be this, kind of quarterback whisperer. Yeah, Califoot. I would tell you Jordan Davis's days are ticking down wearing green, brother, if he doesn't start turning this around. The proof is there. So if you can't see it, then you're just being a Georgia homer. Plain and simple. But yeah, the Jaguars coming into Philly this weekend. I don't envision this being a big deal. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is really all that good, to be honest with you. And I don't think Doug Peterson is all he's cracked up to be as a head coach. I know you guys can crucify me for it. I understand. But outside of 2017, please tell me where this guy has been this excellent head coach. He's a bunch of 9-7, 9-8. And this year it's even worse. His last year in Philly was awful. This year in Jacksonville is awful. The one big year where everything went right for us. And outside of that, it's been a bunch of average to below average. In some cases, abysmal. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't see it. He'll be a legend forever in Philly, and rightfully so, and I love him for it. But I really can't sit here and listen to people talk about him being some awesome head coach because his record just doesn't reflect it. I don't see this weekend's game being that much of a contest. It's in Philly. So Doug's going to look at it as what, a revenge game? Give me a break. And I just don't see it. Yeah, Fanny, just look at his record overall is what I'm talking about. Look at his win-loss record year over year, and that'll tell you the whole story. If you can win a division at 9-8, that tells you more about your division than it does your team. And I don't want to hear about beating the freaking Chargers in the playoffs. That team does not know how to play in the playoffs to begin with. So enough with all that. I think we're favored by a touchdown, 7.5. That might be a little extreme, but I don't know. To think we can't win, 30-20, 30-24, something like that, 24-17, 27-20, somewhere in that ballpark, I think is more than realistic for this weekend. I'm not going to get into breaking down the game just because I don't think there's much to break down. We are more talented at pretty much every single position. I like Jalen Hurts better than Trevor Lawrence. Our wide receivers are light years better than theirs. Saquon Barkley, every time he steps on the field, there's a chance that he's the best player on the field. Our offensive line is superior to theirs. They can play some defense. That much I will give them credit for, but I think ours is better overall. And we're playing well right now. I expect this to be a Birds win. You guys have heard me say it over the years that we've been doing this show. When we're the more talented team, I expect to win the game. That's what I expect this weekend. And I don't really see it being another way. All right. Let's get down to the fun shit. So normally we do Boner of the Week. And instead, this week, we are going to do what we're going to call the Satchel of Richards because there were just too many to narrow it down to one. And, we'll start with where I thought this week was going to end up being Boner of the Week. and that is, excuse me, Bears cornerback Tyreek Stevenson. You guys have no doubt all seen the play by now. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock. Especially if you even if you had the nerve to turn on the TV this past Monday morning, or at any point during the day, you saw the Hail Mary completion for the Commanders to beat the Bears. Tyreek Stevenson is the idiot corner who was dancing around before the play and during the play, taunting the Commanders fans. Game's not over yet. And there are responsibilities on the. It's not just, oh, he's just going to heave it, it'll get knocked down, no problem. There are responsibilities in those roles, right? First of all, you're boxing out wide receivers as if you were boxing out for rebounds, okay? When that whole group gets together to go for it, there's supposed to be one guy that jumps and smacks the ball down. That guy on that play was supposed to be Tyreek Stevenson. Not only was he seen taunting the Commanders fans, he's late getting over to the scrum. He ends up being the one that, instead of smacking it down, tips the ball. Boop, touchdown. Absolutely ridiculous. No way the game should end that way. But I'm going to do you one better for Tyreek and why he makes the Satchel of Richards list here. The Hail Mary is one thing. The game, the play prior to that was an 11-yard out route completion, is what set up the play. If they don't get that play, Jaden Daniels is not able to reach the end zone. Okay? Tyreek Stevenson was also seen mocking fans on that play, the play before the Hail Mary. You absolute clown. What the hell is the matter with you? The game isn't over. Okay? It's not over until triples it. Now, look, our game against Cincinnati, that game was over long before the clock ran out. This one was not that way. And if you allow a team to get into position to take a shot, there is always a chance. You've seen Aaron Rodgers do it 3 times in his career now. One time this year. Jaden Daniels is having a very special rookie season. That would have been in the back of my head. I'm not out there clowning around. You can't talk shit until you've beaten the team, and you hadn't beaten them yet. Instead, you're out there clowning around. They get that 11-yard completion, puts them in position to launch it. They launch it. You're clowning around again. Your dumbass runs over there, tips it up in the air, right into the receiver's hands. Touchdown, game over, Commanders win. The entire banks down there here in Cincinnati was loaded with Birds fans. We're all watching it. If Washington loses that game, we are in first place, and that happens. So you can eat a Satchel of Richards while you're at it, Stevenson, but you definitely make the Richards list this week. I thought that was going to be it. I'm like, oh, great. I've got my boner of the week already. Perfect. No worries. Was I wrong? Let's move to Game 3 of the World Series. I'm sorry, Game 4 of the World Series. You guys, a lot of you saw the picture collage I created with this idiot Yankees fan. His stupid fat face right next to Sloth from the Goonies. I thought it was perfect. This idiot, look, if you want to catch a foul ball, okay, you stand up and put your hands up. Once the ball player has made the catch, it's not yours anymore. Doesn't matter if his glove is on the other side of the wall. He caught it. It's an out. The play's over. That's it. These two pieces of shit, not only does he grab Mookie's glove. Now, mind you, if you've never been to Yankee Stadium before, I will tell you, that wall up the line there is high. Mookie's not an incredibly tall guy. He had to jump to get that. Now this fat piece of shit grabs a hold of Mookie's glove. His stupid fat friend comes over and grabs Mookie's arm to hold him there. Mookie's jumping up and down, trying to stop himself from getting hurt at that point. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of his stupid face right now. They rip the ball out of Mookie's glove and it goes back on the field, and they think they've done something wonderful. All you've done is just show the world what kind of a dumbass you are, right? And then I got to hear from everybody, oh, this is how Yankee fans are. I'm like, well, guys, look, let's stop generalizing based on two knuckleheads, all right? No offense, but some of you guys, some of you Philadelphia fans were the ones saying it. Well, let's not act like Philadelphia has the greatest sparkling reputation either. The point is, every single fan base has assholes. These two, there is just no excuse for it. You stupid bastard. And then they interview him, and the thing he's saying, that's my wall. I protect my wall. And they're talking about how they've had this all planned out. Look, if Mookie Betts wanted to, he could have pressed charges. Not only did you touch a player, which you should never do, player, coach, manager, umpire, ground crew, ball boy, whatever. But he's hanging on up there. And Mookie could have gotten hurt. It could have hurt his wrist. He could have hurt his arm. Look, I'm as big a Yankee fan as there is. Not like that, guys. Okay? That's down class bullshit. And they got thrown out of the game, rightfully so. They were not allowed back for Game 5, rightfully so. My opinion, those two idiots should never, ever be allowed in a major league ballpark anywhere, ever again, for life. Ban hammer for life. Personally, I don't think they should be allowed at any sporting event when this is how you react, and you feel justified in doing it. My biggest concern with the whole thing with these two jackasses is it's going to end up like the Hawk Tua girl, where there's going to be people who glorify it, and they're going to end up on the cover of, they're going to end up with podcasts and whatever else, just for being fat, drunken, stupid pieces of shit. It's basically what these two are. And no, I'm not sorry about it. Yes, they're Yankee fans. Yes, I'm a Yankees fan. I don't claim them. This is not how we behave. And the fans around them should have done something about it. I'm disappointed in them too. That shit ain't funny. You could have hurt the player. And just the stupid look. Could you imagine if they do get glorified and now they're out there all the time getting their 15 minutes of fame? Have you seen the face on that fat fuck? Do you really want to see that face? Or at least the Hawk Tour girl, she's easy on the eyes. This piece of shit, give me a break. Oh, here we go. Calfoot. That's how Yankee fans are. Yeah. How about it was some years ago when your drunk ass piece of shit Red Sox fans out in right field tried to make over that short wall, made the big mistake of trying to grab at Gary Sheffield, which is another thing I'll tell you. Those fans are probably lucky that wall is high. All right, so we'll double down on this. You're grabbing a professional athlete, right? For all you tough guys out there that think I could kick his ass, yeah, okay, go for it. Like your two jerk-off Red Sox fans found out in right field that year. That's how Yankee fans are. That's how douchebag fans are. Whether it's New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Chicago, Anchorage, doesn't matter. And anybody who supports that behavior, you're just as bad, if not worse. All right, I'm off my soapbox about that one. Finally, and this one hits home for Philadelphia. Joel Embiid, who recently it was announced that he would not play any back-to-back games this year. Right? So if you're scheduled on a Monday and a Tuesday, he's only playing one of them. This is just It's just acceptable now in today's NBA. And he is getting ripped for it. He's getting ripped for the load management, the egregious load management, right? I wish Diaz was on here. He has the nerve to come back and say it's bullshit criticism about him not wanting to play, that he's done way too much for this fucking city. Please tell me what you've done for Philadelphia. Your job is to win basketball games. Is to help that team win basketball games. Plenty of regular season winning. But please tell me what you've delivered overall. Go ahead, I'll wait. And any of you Philly fans on here, Dominguez, you can chime in too. Please tell me what has Joel Embiid delivered to Philadelphia. Now, look, if he's doing charity stuff off the court and all that, that's a totally different animal. All right? I'm not here to rip him as a human being. I'm talking strictly about him as a professional basketball player, and an extremely talented one at that. When he's healthy and when he's on the goddamn court, give me a break. Lou Mancini, I'm tired. Seriously, somebody tell me what Joel Embiid has done to, first of all, earn the right. So you're not going to play back-to-backs. Okay, cool. So, like, who the fuck are you, dude? Right? And now what? So Paul George is hurt, right? This idiot's only going to play 60 games. Embiid. It is more than time. It is past time to start moving away from Embiid and start building around Tyrese Maxey. I said it last year. I will continue to support that line of thought. To continue to believe that this guy is going to lead you to the promised land is an absolute joke. I think for a guy that big, that strong, he hits the floor far too often. My son Grady would call him a foul merchant, which he's probably not wrong. He's hurt far too often. And now he's not going to play. He's just going to come out before the season. I would like to know how many back-to-backs there actually are during the season. I probably should have looked it up, but I figured it'd just be more fun to come on here and rip them for even having that thought. And then you get criticized by one of the toughest fan bases on the planet. And you know it. You've played your career in Philadelphia, so you know how the fan base is. What did you think was going to happen when you come out and just immediately make a statement like, no, I'm not going to play back-to-backs? What, they were going to give you a standing ovation? Are you out of your friggin' mind? That's Philadelphia you're talking about there. It's not Portland, Oregon. Right? It's not Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's not St. Louis. And then you want to cry about it and say it's bullshit that the fans are giving you all this smoke and that you've done so much for this city. Get the fuck out of here. Give me a break. Lou Mancini, trust the process, and rolls his eyes. Mancini, again, he's shown us that you can make over $60 million a year to not do your job. Bam! Right on the head right there, my brother. I love it. But there wraps up your Satchel of Richards. Okay? I'm sure there were more. We talked about Aaron Rodgers picking his nose and eating it last week. The idiot of the week. Yep. Lou Dominguez, those two morons are candidates for all-time Boners Hall of Shame. No place for that. Absolutely. Fanny says the idiot should be the guy from the Jets game last night who let the ball go before he reached the end zone. Yeah, I mean, we could have gone with that too. But we ripped Woody Johnson last week for being a co-boner of the week for his infatuation to Aaron Rodgers. So Califoot says Embiid picking his ass and shooting a free throw. Nice. So it seems like we were all pretty much on the same page here, right? So I'm glad for that. But look, kids, this hour went by pretty quick. I am going to get going. For For those of you Midwest Eagles Nest maniacs that are coming out this weekend, I will see you on Sunday. I will get to the porch about 3 o'clock. Looks like our head count for this week should be pushing about 40. So we did a lot of work over the weekend to try and advertise while we were downtown, and hopefully I don't think we'll see the fruits of that labor this weekend, given it's the weekend right after all of that and not the biggest game in the world against Jacksonville. However, next week we play Dallas, and I'm wondering if that head count's going to really spike. We'll see. Anyways, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate all of you as you come in here and allow me to try to humor you and entertain you for an hour each week. Next week, we'll get back out on the road, hopefully to the back porch next Wednesday night. Hopefully, I can talk my partner in crime, Mr. Solon, into sitting down with me, at least for a little bit, and talk birds. But for everyone in the room and everyone who was watching but didn't comment, and for all of you who will watch later, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for joining us. Come on back again next week when we should be live from the back porch. It'll be next Wednesday. Baseball season's over, but football season's really getting hot here, so we're going to stick to that, especially come next week. Until then, folks, this has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family, brought to you proudly by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party information. Yo, be safe. Have fun. Enjoy the weekend. Remember, the judge is not back in until Monday. And as always, kids, go Birds. All right, kids, that's going to wrap it up. Y'all take care. We love you.